Africa is rising, and the world is moving towards greater multipolarity. Yet, for the next 25 years, the continent is set to remain at the margins of global power. The African Futures Project used a new index that goes beyond the traditional measures of demographics, economics, military and technology, and includes measures of diplomatic influence. This index measures Africa to hold about 8% of global power, more than that of Japan, Russia, or India, but less powerful than the US, China, or the European Union. By 2040, Africa's total relative power is forecast to surpass that of the declining EU and US, although only coming to around 11% of global power. Nigeria, South Africa, Ethiopia, Egypt, and Algeria, the Big Five, have some of the largest power potential in Africa. But Nigeria is the only country that could become a globally significant player. The Big Five will inevitably shape the future of the continent. Collectively, they will continue to account for 60% of the African economy, 40% of Africa's population, and 58% of its military expenditure. Measuring and forecasting power is complex. We use the International Futures Forecasting System to explore the changing power capabilities of the Big Five over the next 25 years. Our forecast suggests a clear distinction between the status quo powers, Egypt, Algeria, and South Africa, and the emerging powers, Nigeria and Ethiopia. The capabilities of Nigeria and Ethiopia are expected to grow considerably in the future. Those of Egypt, South Africa, and Algeria, on the other hand, are forecast to remain stagnant. But potential doesn't necessarily equal actual power projection. Actually, Algeria and Nigeria punch below their weight, and Egypt punches above its weight internationally, but below its weight in Africa. Nigeria's projection of external power is compromised by internal violent conflict and a lack of strategic focus in its foreign policy. Algeria's huge military capacity is mostly focused on domestic threats in an unstable region. Ethiopia and South Africa have a record of punching above their weight. Ethiopia's rise is in line with its growing influence in the region. South Africa, the only African member of the BRICS and the G20, significantly increased its leverage in Africa and globally after the end of apartheid. As for the future, it is likely that Africa will remain multipolar in terms of power distribution. Only very deep economic and political integration, complemented by much more rapid and sustained economic growth, could offset Africa's marginal global role. Also, the quality of governance will play a role in how effectively African countries translate capabilities into power projection. Connect with us online.